That is absolutely genius. I've never heard that piece of advice before either. That is genius.
Yeah. Those two things got me clients very quickly.
I'm not going to book with them if the work's shoddy.
They want to feel like they are still coming for the nail appointment and not just coming to your house.
Welcome to Nails and Yap, the podcast where I do people's nails and we have a good old natter. I'm Laura, I'm a nail tech, and after years of hearing the funniest, deepest, and most random chats, I thought, why not turn it into a podcast? Whether you're a fellow nail tech, a client who loves a good catch-up, or someone who's just nosy about the beauty world, you're in the right place.
Hi, welcome back to Nails and Yap, podcast where we talk to nail techs about all things nails. So today I'm joined by Tanya, aka Beauty Max, who is a local nail tech who I met recently at an event, and she's here today to talk all about getting new clients. So whether you're someone who's kind of struggling to fill your books, whether you're a new client, whether you're a nail tech who has clients but not regulars, this one's going to be for you. So we're going to break it down step by step. So we'll first talk all about how clients can find you, why they stay with you and book you, and then what makes them stay versus leave. So thank you for joining me.
Hello.
I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm very glad to be here. It's so weird having my nails done by somebody
Everybody
else.
says that. Fab. So clients.
Yes.
Starting from scratch. What is the reality of starting with no clients? What was it like for you?
God, I have obviously really supportive flight friends and family. So I was my own first client for a very, very, very long time. And then when I decided that I wanted to kind of do it seriously and kind of just not do my own nails anymore, I went and did a course. And then obviously I was like, I'm going to need to like start getting clients. So I had some of my boyfriend's friends, because they live in the area. I'm from Bolton, so none of my home friends really would come. So Jack's friends very nicely donated their fingers to me to get practicing basically, and they used to sit there for 4 and 5 hours at my dining room table whilst I would do it. But they were my very first clients. From there, it just began me having to advertise, and that was the bit that I feel was the hardest part, and just make it and thinking that will people come, but then once they do, that feeling is like absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's so nerve-wracking doing your first ever client, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it's like your first stranger.
Yeah, I think my first one that wasn't a friend was I'd put something in a Facebook group, and she just had a baby, and she asked me if I would do mobile. Now, obviously, no, I would not do mobile now, but I just wanted to go to meet someone, speak to them, and also get some pictures for my Instagram. Yeah. So I went, and that was my very first one, and it was a lady, and I did just gel for her, and I did a hands and a toes, and it was brilliant. But then I felt like I got that nervous part out the way, and then once I set my room up and actually got people coming to me, I remember how nerve-wracking that really was, someone come in, and I don't think I told her that she was my first one, if I remember rightly.
I think that's probably a good tactic, because if I was a client and someone said, "You're the first person I've ever done," I'd be like panicking. You would get a bit worried, wouldn't you, as a client?
Not the first person you've done. I'd done lots of people, but there was my first stranger who was coming to properly pay, So that was nerve-wracking. But then I think, in our job, you need to kind of have the gift of the gab a little bit as well. And I mean, I can make friends with a brick wall, so that part was easy. And then it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have friends and family. That seems to be a lot of people's origin stories, isn't it? Where you start with your friends and family. I was the same. I was like mum, sister, friends. You rope them in, you practice. I always feel so bad when you think about how long they sat for.
Yeah, 4 and 5 hours, my boyfriend's friends. They used to come in for. And also I want to give a big shout out to my actual boyfriend, because I used to do his nails as well. Although they were all like Lord of the Rings themed nail art. And he's like getting these pictures up on Pinterest, and I'm like, babe, I've been doing it a month. But yeah.
We're not drawing Gollum in realism.
Yeah, exactly. And then from there, it was obviously starting to advertise and stuff.
Yeah, so where did you start advertising on initially?
So any new nail techs out there, I'm talking to you. Definitely Facebook groups. That was the biggest thing. Yeah. Now, I feel like the younger people are now, they're actually not on Facebook as much. I feel like it's more Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and all that kind of thing. So my clients' first ones were the kind of older clients. Older, I'm meaning like maybe 40s, 50s. But the great thing about them is they're very loyal as well. And them first ones that came to me from those Facebook groups still come now. So first of all, I'm not from the area. I moved in with my partner, and I had to add all these new Facebook groups. So it was buy and sell Facebook groups, mummy Facebook groups, community Facebook groups, all of them. I think I added myself to about 20 Facebook groups. And then from that, obviously, by this point, hopefully, if you're starting to get clients, you've kind of done your branding.
Yeah, and the good thing about Facebook groups is, like you said, a lot of the clients are older. So they're usually a bit more settled in where they are in life.
Yeah,
so
and where they're living as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what I was going to say. So like where you younger clients, they might be here because they're in Manchester for uni.
Exactly.
For 3 years.
And they might not add themselves to these groups as well. Yeah. This is the other thing.
Yeah, your older clients are they're probably here for the long run. They bought the house, they live in the area, they're from
it's
here.
It's part of their community.
They've got mates here, they've got kids here, they've got friends, like family here, like they can recommend you as well.
Absolutely, and that's definitely why it was good starting in that area.
Did you find you got a lot of word of mouth clients once you'd got the initial kind of influx from Facebook?
And the biggest thing was, because you're adding people on Facebook groups that are in your area, just say they already do have a nail tech or they go to one of the walk-in salons, if they found someone that's actually right around the corner from them, then they're more willing to just come, even if they are with someone else, which is a little bit sad. But obviously convenience is key as well. And because I was adding people in my very tight circle of where I was living, people were happy to come because, it's only 2 streets away. Yeah. So, and the majority of the clients that I got, I was like, so how did you find me? Facebook group. And then I realised you were only 2 minutes away, so I thought, why not? And then because of that, then their friends, their sisters. I've got so many clients where I do like 4 people in the family.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant.
That.
Yeah.
I love that. You just have to remember not to say anything to the others.
Yeah. Well,
don't grass anyone up.
To be fair, all of you out there, none of them actually say anything bad about each other. But it is funny though, because sometimes I've already heard this story about what's happened in the family like 3 times over, because they all.
You're finishing the sentence.
I'm like, I already know that.
Did you do anything like flyering in the local area? Do you think that is important, sort of visibility beyond social media in your local area?
Yeah. So going back to obviously you think that you've done your branding by this point. I had done my branding by this point. I'd also come up with an introductory offer because I'm just wanting to get so many pictures and videos out there, because I wanted to create content from the start. So all those people from the Facebook groups, and then for anywhere else that I got, I'd probably seen some leaflets or some branding that I'd already done previous to this. So once I sorted my branding out, I did also get a leaflet made on, I think I just made it on Canva or something like that. And it was very important. I didn't put the price on there because I thought if I need to use these leaflets again, I can reuse them at a later date. But yeah, I made some flyers, and the best thing I ever did, and then probably along with Facebook, is where I got my most clients from, was making a poster and sticking it on the impulse lockers. Because the amount of women that go to an impulse locker.
That is genius.
Yeah. And I was like, I go to that locker about 3 times a week. So almost 1 million other women. And so I've been doing it for 2 years now. And I had a client the other day and I was like, so where did you find me? She was like, it was ages ago, and I've just followed you on Instagram, but it was from a leaflet on the impulse locker. So I am still getting clients from an impulse locker, and obviously that leaflet's not there anymore. But I did keep it up there for about 4 months. And if someone would take it down, I would go and snip another one up.
That is absolutely genius. I've never heard that piece of advice before either. That is genius. Yeah.
So I did flyer, I went posting them in the few streets just near me, but I didn't go really further afield with that. Yeah. But I stuck them in Starbucks. That was a really good one as well. Yeah. A notice board in Starbucks, notice board in Morrison's. Anywhere where I had them in my handbag at all times, anywhere that was a notice board, it was getting put up.
And I think, if you can avoid dating it, because I made that mistake with I also have a permanent jewelry business, and I did some offers, got some flyers printed. And I only probably got 100, but it still costs, 15, 20 quid, whatever. And I had put the date on them, and then now they're just useless and sat there, and I didn't end up even posting them all through letterboxes, and it's just a waste. So anything that you can think of to reduce costs like that, just make sure it's evergreen, is a really good tip as well.
Yeah, well, obviously, I that was all with great in mind, and then a year later I went and trained in other stuff, so I had to rebrand the whole thing anyway, and they became useless. But my thought process when I made them was, I'm going to not put prices on for that reason.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and it basically just said it was my logo. It was 3 little cute pictures of different types of nails that I'd done, just an overlay one with flowers on, because I love flower and nail art. And then it just listed off the things that I did. So Biab, nail art, just gel toes, and then it just said new to your local area, and that was it. Because I knew I was only going to give them out in my area.
Yeah.
And I made sure the branding at the time. So my Max Nails was it's all, I do really love all the people's branding where it's really nice, clean and aesthetic and creams and browns, which is kind of what I've learned into now.
Mhm.
But I wanted it to really stand out. So it was like my brand then was like multicolored and it was eye-catching. And I wanted it to be eye-catching if I was going to put it up in places like that.
I think that is really important. I am going to do another episode at some point on like how to brand yourself when you're first starting out. But I think being eye-catching and standing out from the crowd is really important because you need to show people what makes you different from every nail tech down the road.
And I think it just looks fun.
Yeah.
It looked fun. It was something near you and you look like it was like down the road from you. And I think that's kind of what got me the clients. And those two things got me clients very quickly. And I don't even know, maybe 2 months I'd actually fully stopped doing like my old job because I was freelance and self-employed in my old job, so I was able to make one less and the other one grow. But within 2 months, just by doing primarily those two things,
that's amazing.
I know,
2 months.
It is crazy, and I was really on it with the social media because of it, because I knew that people were looking at them flyers, looking at it on the Instagram, and the links needed to all be correct for it to follow through with actually getting the client at the end.
I think that is one thing, like social media is just so important, and it is annoying in that you can't just train in nails and then crack on with it the same way that one day you might, like years ago, you might have, once upon a time been able to get a job in a salon and just crack on and do nails. Now you do have to be a social media manager, a content creator.
Oh yeah,
you just
we do all the jobs. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Equally, it makes such a difference when you first start out and building clients.
Yeah.
It really does. And the people who you speak to who say, oh, I managed to fill my books in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, it's all because they just push so hard on social at the start.
And what I think is really important as well is there's a lot of people who are new nail techs that will be doing it on a weekend and of an evening alongside a full-time job that they've got. And I think that's great. But I think why I got them a little bit faster was because I was freelance and I was able to choose the days that I worked. I chose to work less days for a small period of time, so then I had more time to put the effort into these things that I was doing. And I think if you work a full-time job, you are tired when you go home and stuff like that. You're not putting 100% into getting the new clients because you still have this thing to lean back on. And I kind of pushed myself out of that comfort zone of, right, I've taken 3 days off this week and I'm not going to get paid for that. So I'm going to make sure in those 3 days I'm spending 5 hours a day going leafleting around my area, posting in Facebook groups every 5 hours. Do you know what I mean? It is because I put so much more effort into it because I had the free time to do so. And when you have a full-time job, I feel like you don't have as much as that time to push it because you have a full-time job, which is understandable.
So obviously social media, you want to nail down kind of how your social media looks, make sure you're getting content, good quality pictures and all of that. But what else do you think matters right at the start when you're first starting out?
The branding, like we just said, making sure it looks like what people are going to be interested in. I do think your space that you're doing it in, if they know that you're starting off, obviously it's not, your setup isn't going to be absolutely perfect, but just making sure it's comfortable, welcoming. My studio's in my spare room in my house, and I kind of wanted to really make it feel like it wasn't just my spare room in my house. Like even if you're doing it in your dining room, kind of separate it off as much as you possibly can. Try and make it feel as professional as possible, because especially if you're doing it in your own home, they want to feel like they are still coming for the nail appointment and not just coming to your house, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think same, like that client experience.
Yeah, exactly. And if you've got a space to do it in that isn't at home, then obviously it's going to naturally already feel like that. But for me, that was important to make sure they felt like they were coming to some type of nail studio to get the nails done and not just coming into my house. I
also think another one that's important is reliability.
Yeah.
As a tech, so make sure you're not kind of cancelling on people last minute.
Oh yeah.
You're committing when you're first starting out, especially if you are doing it around another job. You don't, or if you're younger and you're still at your parents' house, you don't necessarily need it for income at that point. But you still need to be reliable, because that's what builds your reputation, that's what builds your brand, and that's what makes people recommend you to other people.
Exactly, and that's when they're going to come back. Like, well, don't get me wrong, we've all had a time where we've had to move something or cancel, or we've got a personal appointment that we have to move it for. But that's kind of like my last resort, shall I say. But yeah, just being reliable, being on time, not being late, being set up ready to go when they're already there, just those little things.
And then I think good work as well. I think honing your craft as much as you can, so that then when people do come, you've got that client, you've brought them through the doors, you've attracted them through your word of mouth, your leaflet, and your social media. But then when they actually do arrive, the work's to a good standard, and then they want to come back as well.
And I think don't be afraid to say, if someone says, "Oh, bring you a picture, can I have this?" and you're not comfortable doing it, you don't think you're going to execute it as that good as that picture looks, and they've brought you. Understandably, you are quite new to it as well. Just say that they would much prefer you just being honest and going, "I'm not sure I can do it like this, but like maybe we can do it like this," because then it's going to be done to the best of your ability. So don't kind of feel like you can't say no to doing something if you don't feel like you're going to execute it properly.
Yeah, absolutely. I still say no now, all the time to clients, all the time, especially if they bring an AI picture.
Oh, the AI pictures.
Absolutely cannot make your nails see-through. I'm sorry. But all the time I say no to clients, because why would I want my client to leave with a set they're not happy with and I'm not happy with?
Yeah, 100%.
It's it doesn't make me any less valid as a nail tech that I've said no. It actually, like you said, it makes the client value you more, because you're honest. They know you'll be upfront with them, and they'll know they'll leave with a set that they're happy with.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with starting with doing just overlays and a French or a full colour. Like, they are like the basics of what is nails, I think, anyway. And a lot of people actually just like one of those 3 things.
Yeah.
So if you nail those down, if you want to start going into your nail art and stuff afterwards, like, that's fine. You can get more practice over time, but those 3 things I think are like the most important, because it's probably what you're going to do the most of as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really easy sometimes to think clients will book just based on nail art, and that's the icing on the cake, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've definitely in the past, when looking for nail techs, that I've had a look, and yes, I like to know that they can do designs that I would like to have.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to book with them if the work's shoddy, or if the shaping's
if
bad,
underneath
or it's bulky,
crap,
or they've got retention issues. I'm not going to book with them. So even though the nail art might be amazing, that's not why I would initially first pick a nail tech. I would go onto someone's page and I would pick them based on other factors first.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's having those basic parts nailed down. No pun intended.
I think as a beginner, it's so easy to get sort of your head into the nail art, and everyone tells you, don't worry about that, focus on the basics, and you don't want to listen.
No.
Because why would you? You want to do the fun stuff.
I mean, I'm giving all this advice, but I was like, I got into nails because I love flowers and watercolour art. So I was doing all watercolour things on my hands. And even though my biad base is a bit shoddy, but look at my watercolour flower on top.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I wish, I would have took more time at the start just doing these basic things, because even now when it's 2 years in, I watch a video, I'm like, oh, they apply it slightly different, and I like that. And I'm always changing and tweaking how I'm doing things. Like, I'm watching how you're doing it now, it's obviously slightly different to me, but you get little tips and tricks from stuff that you watch at all times. So we're always all still learning, no matter how deep we are into it.
When I first started, I thought clients, they're gonna want nail art.
Yeah.
They're not that bothered.
They're not
that bothered.
No. If you learn to do it and you can do it and they love it, then they absolutely love it. But they would have gone to a nail tech who specialises or does nail art if they would have wanted to go on there. If they've picked and they've booked you and they've seen your work on pictures and stuff, they're not that bothered.
Yeah.
If you start off and you can't do so much of it, it's an added bonus if you learn.
What do you think makes someone pick one nail tech over another, or pick you over someone else?
Yeah, so I definitely think style. I feel like you have your nail techs out there that are absolutely on point with their application, and they maybe do more the Russian manicure, but they won't do any nail art because they spend all the time on the prep and things like that. And then I think you've got me, where I'm a little bit in between, where I do spend my time on that, but I do like doing nail art, and people do come to me for that. And obviously in that time of your appointment, quite a bit more of my time is going to be spent on the nail art. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think my clients are the ones that maybe come to me that do like nail art, not maybe a more clean girl aesthetic girlies. I mean, they do come to me, but most of mine have come because they want nail art, and I think that's why I would be chosen over somebody else.
Yeah.
But if I was the type of girl that didn't like nail art, the ones that, some of the pictures that they do where they're just, everything is perfect, it's like the apex, it's just, but you can tell time has been spent on that. Them girls aren't going to come to me. Not that mine isn't good, but they're not as perfect as they are. But then if you want your nail art and all your watercolour goodness, then they are going to come to me. So I think it's all just on style of what that person is after, really.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think, like, there's different clients for everybody, isn't there? So, like, some people will come to you at first because they like that you're home based. Some people want a salon.
Yeah,
some people
that
want,
as well.
like, someone which is a good benefit when you're first starting out as a nail tech is you're not as booked, and some people need that flexibility in the diary. So that's a great way of getting clients, is advertising. I think it's easy sometimes to think, oh, if I look too available as a beginner, then it'll put people off. But actually, some people like to know that they've got flexibility in your diary as well. And they can message you and you've got an appointment that week. So that is something. Some people are looking for kind of that ease of booking. Some people are looking for like a private one-to-one situation. Some people like a salon. People want different things, I think. So.
Yeah, that's true, because I've actually had quite a few clients that have said also, like, why have you changed? And if it isn't just, oh, you're just close or whatever, something like that, they said, I used to go somewhere that had like a few people in there, and like I kind of didn't like the type of conversations that they would have, or it was a bit too busy or a bit overwhelming. Where obviously I'm in a room, just me and them. I've got a telly in my room. If they're a bit quieter, I can the option just to put that on. It's a bit more personal, I would say, and some people do opt for that more than the salon by the atmosphere. But then on the flip side, people don't like just being at me and them, and they want to come in and walk in whenever they want and not have to make an appointment. So yeah, it's just each to their own.
What would you say new nail techs should prioritise in the first 3 months if they're trying to get new clients then?
Getting down the basics of whatever you've been taught. So just biab application, French, full colour, 100%. Making sure your branding is good and is ran through everything that you do. So your Instagram branding's the same as your leaflets. Maybe some of the colours of stuff that you use in your room. If you've got posters up, everything kind of matches, because I know it seems stupid, but those little things, like what people look for, they don't know that they're looking for. It's all very subconscious, but people do like branding. People have said to me, oh, your Instagram's so good, and like everything's uniform and stuff like that. So definitely that as well. And just being flexible, being available. If you want those first few clients and you need them to get the pictures and stuff like that, you might have to work a little bit later one night and things like that to get that client base started.
I would say as well with branding, it's super important because it looks professional and people are impressed by it, but equally it gives that brand consistency, so people do know that the flyer that they've seen on the street, when they go on your Instagram, they've not gone to the wrong Instagram, they know it's your Instagram.
Don't have everything all
recognise you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, you don't subconsciously know that you like the look of that, but you do.
And how many times have people said to you, like, oh, like I've asked people before, oh, your eyebrows look nice, where have you got them done? Oh, it's this girl, she's called Beauty by Such a Body, picture's a green picture on Instagram. And then you know you're on the right one. So it's even things like that. People will recommend you if they can't remember your exact handle. By your logo, by your branding.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I do thinking about what your name is as well. So if it's like Beauty by whatever or Nails by whatever, that's kind of why I wanted, even when it was just Nails, I wasn't Nails by Tanya. A lot of people have that type of name where I feel like if you choose something that's like we have, like The Cure and Maxi Nails was my first one, I don't know, I feel like it feels more professional.
I think it's also a bit more future-proof.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Because like now, I don't know if the goal would ever be for me to have my own full salon. Like, I kind of like just being in charge of myself.
Yeah.
But equally, if I wanted a salon, The Cure would be it. I've got my logo already. I've got my branding. Beautiful. Exactly. It's a lot easier. It wouldn't be like, oh, I'm Nails by Laura, but I'm now in a salon called this. And
that's where I messed up. I was Maxi Nails, and then I thought, oh, I want to do brows, lashes, and aesthetics. And I can't be Maxi Nails anymore. So I had to do like a whole rebrand. And that's when I thought, right, what am I going to redo it this time?
Yeah.
I still wanted the Max in it because that's my last name. So I wanted that still to be involved. So I did kind of have my name in there as well. But then, Beauty Max kind of covers a lot of different things in case I did want to do any other courses.
So we've attracted our new clients. They've found us on Instagram. They've seen our posters in the in-post. Honestly, that is genius.
I put them on bus stops as well, sellotapes and stuff.
It is genius, genuinely. So we've attracted our clients. How do we turn the first-time client into a regular? So they've rocked up, they're at the door, they're here for the first appointment. What are we doing to make sure they rebook?
Obviously, you want them to like you, don't you? I mean, that's the biggest thing. Just being friendly, making them feel comfortable. You obviously want to do a good job on the nails. I'm going to guess at the start your prices are some like introductory prices, so maybe the price will make them come back as well. But yeah, just mostly making them feel comfortable and making sure they've left with something they like. Like I say to my clients, like if you don't like it or you want to change it, like just tell me, because some people are just, they won't say anything.
Yeah.
So I say like if I can change it. Like, you know, you need to make sure that they're leaving happy, and also you making sure of that, especially for the clients that don't really like speaking up, to make them feel like they'll definitely want to come back.
100%. And I also think as well, asking them if it's the first time getting nails, because it's their first time with you. They might never have had the nails done before as well. So introduce them to you, introduce them to your space, and talk through your steps while you're doing it. So I'm just going to use the e-file on you now. You know, you might feel a bit of vibration, but you shouldn't feel any pain. If you do, let me know. That kind of thing just puts people at ease as well and makes them feel they're in safe hands.
Especially, like I just only do biab and extensions. I say, like, if you ever buy before, a lot of them haven't. So before I even do anything, I say, so this is what we'll do. I tell them about the prep, and I tell them about like the base layer and then a slip layer. And I say, you know, obviously doing biab, we do one finger at a time in and out the lamp. Like, that's not normally how you think you would get your nails done. Normally you would do every finger and then put it in if you were doing gel. So it's like those steps, because you don't want them to feel stupid either, that they don't know what to do.
Yeah. Or for them to be sat there thinking, this isn't how someone I've been to before, does it? Like, what's she doing? Is this wrong? What's going on with it?
So just running them through it.
I still have to remind myself to do that with nail art. Sometimes, you know, if you're doing a chrome and then you want a black underneath or something to then do your chrome on top, sometimes clients will go, oh, sorry, I did want it pink. And I'm like, oh, no. Yeah, sorry,
It'll
my fault. I should have explained it. So I'm trying to get better at that. But yeah, just explaining, making clients feel comfortable. I'd say small things that build client loyalty is consistency in your services, making sure they get the same high quality service every time they visit. Remembering the preferences. So I've got some clients who always like a cup of tea, so I'll stick the kettle on before they arrive, and then it's just ready to go. Little things like that make people feel special.
Yeah, I've got a dog, and obviously the dog does not come upstairs at all. But I've a lot of clients that want to see the dog, so you know, we have 5 minutes in the hallway before they come up, and I'll know that they'll love it if they answer, and Penny's there with me or whatever. It's the little things and remembering them and what kind of nails they want. So another thing is, if I've bought something new, in my mind I'm already thinking, oh, Kat will like that, or whoever will like that. So when they come, I'm like, I've got something new, and they're like, oh my god, I love that. I knew how did you know that I'd love that? Because we remembered the preferences, and we remember that they like. I've got one girl who I know her favourite colour is blue, and anytime I get something new that's blue, I know that she'll be all over it. So like getting those things and thinking about your clients and remembering those little things, I think is important.
It just makes people feel special, doesn't it? And like, they're not just a number. And I think a lot of the time when people choose a private nail tech, because they don't want that impersonal walk-in service. They want a personal private tech that's going to feel like a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And things like remembering how they like the nails, the things they like to drink, remembering the partner's name. If they've got kids, asking about the dog. Like,
I feel like
that makes people feel so much.
Absolutely. And when you've got, it's great at the start because you can remember everything. And then when it gets building up, you've got so many more. I'm like, are you the person? And because I remembered something from someone else, and I have so many clients that I get confused because they're very similar in what their lives are and stuff. So it is actually hard, and that is a massive skill to remember all these things.
It is. One tip I heard when I was first starting out was to do it on your booking system. You know, you can put client notes. You can write little things on there. I don't, because I'm always terrified that for some reason there'll be a crash and then they'll see it and it says like, ask about her dentist trip last time, and then they'll be like, that was weird.
Holiday to Spain 2 weeks ago. New job.
Like
GDPR,
they've written everything about me down.
Yeah.
But if it is something you struggle with, just write a few notes.
Yeah.
Literally, husband's called this, has a girl dog.
I've never done it. I'm far too deep in now to try and do it, because that would take me weeks to write notes on all my clients. But I feel like once they have been to you for so long, it does get easier. Because you've just got to know them more. I'm really lucky. All my clients are my friends now. You know, there's some that I've even done stuff with, not sat behind the nail desk, like we've gone out and done things together, which is really, really sweet.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's great. I've made some really good friends from it as well. So as being an adult as well, moving to a place where I didn't really have any friends, I feel like I'm just with my friends every day, which is really cute.
That is the best thing about this job, isn't it?
Yeah. Everyone asks me as well, do you have anyone that you don't like? And I'm like, genuinely, I actually don't. There's people that you've not clicked with as much, but that's part of the job, and that's you talk all the baseline stuff, don't you? What have you done on holiday? What's your job? But then there's other clients where, like, you know the nitty gritty, know everything about everyone's life, and they become actual friends, and I actually love that.
I do, and I love when people like ask me for advice and they want my take
Yeah.
on things. I'm like, oh my god, you're asking me what I think about this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a therapist, but
No.
I'll give you my 2 cents.
Oh, I tell people I'm also a therapist now. Yeah, that's my second job. If this ever goes Pete Tong, can be a therapist.
Yeah.
I've actually got a nail client who's a therapist who said I'd be a good therapist.
What a compliment.
I think every person in beauty is a local.
You are to an extent, aren't you?
Yeah.
100%. So you've done their appointment, you've made them feel comfortable, you've really listened to them, you've like remembered a few things that you can follow up and ask about next time. How are we rebooking that first time client?
So when I first started, I was doing everything manually. I do not advise this because I had about 3 times where I double booked and forgot that I'd done that. Thankfully, everyone was really great about it, and I just smashed through someone, and I had a little seating area thing in my room, so it was fine. But yeah, the ease of them rebooking, I think, is great. So if I use Fresher, just having an app so they find it really easy to do so. They're under absolutely no pressure to do so. It is good if you can try and get that down in their appointment, so you know that they're going to rebook by just saying like, if you want to come for an infill, say 3 to 4 weeks. If you're busy, just say I am quite busy. If you just want to make sure you do that soon or whatever. But just having the ease to book is a good way to know that they will come. And obviously all the standard things to make sure they're leaving happy and things like that.
I agree. I think as well with rebooking, asking them there and then and not feeling nervous to have the conversation. Yeah. They've probably had a nice time, especially if they've complimented the nails. The worst thing they can say is, oh, I need to check my calendar. I'll sort it myself when I get home. And then they don't rebook. But most people will actually appreciate that you've asked them because they want to get booked back in. I also think it's really important as well to nail down what that user journey is after they've left the salon. So are they getting follow-up emails off Fresher saying, please review your experience? Which gives you a chance to get some feedback. Yeah. Most people, if they've had a bad experience, they're probably not going to leave you a bad review. They just won't do one. Yeah. Most people are quite nice. Yeah. But the ones that do, you're doing something right, they've been happy with your service, and they will often point out things that they have liked about your service. So whether that was that you were friendly, that you were kind, that you were a welcoming space, that you put the nerves at ease, that they really like the nail art you did, whatever it may be. So that's a really good way of getting feedback from clients. But equally, it'll also kind of jog the memory to rebook as well. So they are getting them follow-ups from Fresher.
Super important. If I have a new client for a first time, I think I can check on Fresher. If I check them out and I know that it's going to send them a text message to say, like, can you review? I only do that to someone that I haven't, who is a new client. I don't really get my loyal clients to review because they probably already have done at some point. So I only send that out to new people. And I actually tell them in the appointment, I say, if you want to rebook, you can just go on Fresher and book it as you booked it last time. You will also get a text of if you want to do a review, and that would be great. And if you don't, that's fine, don't worry. And I just kind of let them know that that's going to happen. So then when they do get it, they're like, oh yeah, she said this would happen, and maybe I will leave a review. So I think pre-telling them about that is something I've always liked to do.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's that user journey afterwards as well that encourages bookings, because it's not, someone's found you, they've come for the first time, they might want to actually become a regular, but they don't know how, so make it really easy for them to become a regular. Equally, make people know that they don't have to be a regular every 3 weeks. No. I have what I call like irregular regulars, where
I call them occasion appointments.
Yeah, I mean, that's a much better term.
Because it's for a birthday or Christmas, or they're a nurse and they've got 2 weeks off.
Yeah, it's holiday, it's something. And I think those clients are really important as well, because you still get to know them. They're still recommending you, especially if there's someone who never gets the nails done. They come, they have them done for a birthday. All their friends and family are going to be going, oh my God, your nails look so nice. They'll notice them because they're not used to seeing them have the nails done. Then they'll ask where they've got them done. Again, word of mouth spreading. So even though they're not a regular that you're going to see every 3 weeks, I find those clients, they book ahead of time. They're organised.
Oh yeah, they are.
They're on it. So again, it's filling your diary in advance. It's kind of you catching up with them. They're not a new person every time. They're happy with your service. So I think as well, just sort of looking out for opportunities like that as well, and not getting disheartened if someone doesn't book again for 3-4 weeks time. It might be that they're just an occasion client.
Exactly. And it's really nice when you see them come back, you're like, oh, it wasn't that they didn't like my nails. They just don't get their nails done very often.
I also love it because I'm like, fill me in on the last 6 months.
Yeah, like, where have you been?
How did that conversation go?
Yeah,
oh my God, you've got a new job.
Yeah. And
And a new pet, and a new car.
I can't believe you can remember someone from 6 months ago. Because I only started fresher like 6 months in. Some people come and I'm like, have you been before? Because I recognise them.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, when you very first started. I'm like, yeah, I didn't have fresher then. Because now I'm fresher, you can see when they last came. But before that, they're just in the abyss to me. Like, and I'm like, do I remember you or have I just seen you in Aldi?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't
Some people have really recognisable faces as well, don't they?
So I do always ask, even if they're brand new, I'm like, have you ever been before? Because I'm like, you could have come when I didn't have fresher and I need to remember you.
So obviously we get clients in, we want to rebook them. Sometimes they don't rebook, or sometimes people are loyal for years and years and years and then they stop coming.
Yeah.
What mistakes do you think nail techs are making that result in clients not staying loyal or looking elsewhere?
So I kind of don't like beat myself up about it. I know I'm giving the best possible experience that I can give. It might be something simple as, and I know this has definitely happened with one of the girls that doesn't come to me anymore, is it would take her a while to get to me. And she found me and she really liked me. But just like some of my new clients who have come to me because it's been more easy, but she's probably found someone that's more easy to go to. Yeah. And that, I know she always loved the nails when she came. She used to post them on her Instagram. So it's not, I know it's not me and my work. And it is sad because you've like built up a rapport with that person. Yeah. But it's not always you. Yeah. So it could be something as simple as they've got a new job and they can't have the nails done. They just have found somewhere that's closer nearby, and it just is. Or even something different, like one of their friends has started going somewhere new and they thought, oh, I'd just try it. Yeah. I am now loyal to my hairdresser, but I've never been that person that's been loyal to my hairdresser. Neither was I with my nails before I was. So there could just be people like me who come for a few times and then think, oh, I'll try this place. I've seen them on Instagram. I like the design she did. Not everyone is someone that's loyal to someone, and that's okay as well. But that doesn't mean that they won't ever come back again. Yeah. You know, so.
When clients come and sit in my chair, they're a new client, and I sort of delve into like how they found me and where they've come from and that kind of thing, I do find it a bit awkward sometimes when they start slagging off another salon. I always try and redirect the conversation quickly because I don't want that negativity. I don't want to sit here and slag off another salon. But I find a lot of the things that people bring up time and time again is things like inconsistency. So I was going to someone for years, they were really good, but they just got work, they just stopped trying, they were always cancelling on me, they were rescheduling,
or they're not keeping up with latest trends and stuff as well, and like relearning and going to different courses. Like they're still back in. I've had people that have maybe the nail techs have been a little bit older and she's kind of stuck in her ways a little bit and hasn't done all the new nail art. I have a lady that's recently come to me who's like, oh, my nail tech couldn't do all this, but that's because she's not constantly continue to train and things. I think that's really important as well.
Yeah, I do. And I think not over-promising, like you said before. If you can't do a piece of nail art, say it. Because if you are on Instagram or saying to the client at the start of the appointment, yeah, these are going to look so good, and then they leave disappointed, that's going to make them have a bit of a sour taste in the mouth and they might start to look elsewhere. Yeah. I also think just bad communication and letting your boundaries slip. So obviously that might sound great for a client that your boundaries are slipping in terms of, you're not charging for no-shows and things like that, but equally your boundaries are probably also slipping with your timekeeping and with kind of your working load, so you're burning yourself out, and then they can tell that you're burnt out.
I am bad for that. So like sometimes like I've not eaten because I'm so back to back. I've got like 6 people in or whatever, and thankfully these are all clients that I've got to know over quite a few times. But I'm like literally, they've come and I'm like halfway through my sandwich, and everyone's lovely. Like, it's fine, take your time. Like, I know you're busy, you are, whatever. But maybe I shouldn't have booked that many people in that day because I shouldn't be doing that. I should be ready, waiting for them to be for their appointment because they've been on time. So why shouldn't I be? But yeah, it's just little things like that. But we're not always going to. We're human.
No, we're not robots. That's the thing. I think it's just trying to remember that clients they come for that first appointment, and you don't want to be where you're like really on your best behaviour for the first appointment. Obviously, it's lovely when you get to know someone. You don't have to be as best behaviour because the conversations get wilder. We're not as small talky, but in terms of like your professionalism as a nail tech, I think it's really easy to let that slip because you get comfortable and you think, oh, do you know what? I need to move that person around. Oh, they won't mind moving because it's just such a body up. Oh, I'm running a little bit late, but they won't mind because it's just Sophie, it's just Sarah, it's just, and it's not just, they're still just as valid a client as someone who's coming for the first appointment. I'd say even things like going on your phone. Yeah. Going on your phone. I used to go to someone and she'd start like checking her messages on her phone during the appointment, and
you wouldn't do it if you were in John Lewis and you was with a customer,
No, you
would you?
wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. So
You
why would you
wouldn't.
do
And
it?
I just think it's one thing if you're going, oh, let me get up this, like,
Yeah, I'm
or
sure you
say
think all
your
the
phone
time.
rings and it's like mine did it the other day and it was my neighbour and she rang and the last time she never rings me. Why would she? Last time she rang, she was like, your cat's outside, who is an indoor cat. So it was ringing and I just said to my client, I'm really sorry, do you mind if I take this? It might be an emergency. Hopefully it's not.
Yeah, it's fine.
Whatever, move on. But I think if you're sitting there proper going on your phone throughout the messages, like
you also make your time
with that client,
longer.
you should give them your undivided attention. So I think that's really important. And again, you wouldn't do that with a first time client. Don't do it with someone who's been here 3 years.
Exactly. Don't let your quality slip.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Don't lose that professionalism. Don't lose that kind of shininess. Yeah.
Even though you have become friends and you can probably be a bit more relaxed, like there are still a level of, they are still your client who's paying to be here. So
100%. Are you ready for a Nightmare from the Nail Desk, which is my segment where we have a dilemma and we act like little agony ants and solve it?
Go on then.
Let's do it. Somebody has written in to say, I finished a set and the client kept saying she loved them. She paid, rebooked and left happy. The next day she messaged saying they weren't what she wanted and she felt too awkward to say it at the appointment. She's now asking for them to be redone for free. What would you do?
See, I think my answer's going to be different to yours.
Go on.
So if it was
that though. That's why I get different people on different perspectives.
If it was a first time client, I would do it.
Right.
Because I would want her to be happy and then hopefully rebook and think that was really nice for her. She didn't have to do that. You know, I would take the rough with the smooth.
Yeah.
If it's a client who is normally a little bit tricky and has come back and asked for it, I would probably just read out my policies of some sort that I would have in place about that. You know, I would have, if it would have said something at the time, like, you know, then I probably, that would have been fine. We would have done it. But, you know, I need to book out a section for you now where I'm not being paid to do so, or maybe come up with an agreement that she still has to pay, but it's not the full amount or something like that. First time client, I would absolutely do it for free. If it's someone who has previously been a little bit tricky, then I would probably put some type of policy in place. Yeah, because you're not earning money on doing that. Yeah,
fair enough. I also would kind of make sure I'm asking during the appointment.
Yeah,
if they're happy, are you happy with the shape? Are you happy with the length? Are you happy with that colour? So if they've picked a colour or they're stuck between two, do the pinky first. Show them. Do you like that colour? Obviously, it's going to have a second layer, so it'll deepen. But are you happy with that colour, or do we want to change to the other one? Because that avoids the situation where they leave and they're unhappy. So I think try and avoid it as much as you can.
Check as much as you can.
Check, especially if they are someone who is already complaining and difficult. Like, let's just try and avoid it. If they try and do it again after you've done the repair, well, it's not even a repair because you've done nothing wrong, but if they try and do it again, I think that's when you have to say, oh, I really need you to bring it up with me in the appointment. But also just look at how you can make them feel comfortable enough to bring it up.
Yeah.
So say little things. I will always say to my clients, oh, I'd much rather people said at the start before it's gone in the lamp if they're not happy, because we can change it then, whereas at the end we can't. So just letting people know that there's the times to bring up issues.
I was that fussy nail person that the client, the nail tech had to deal with. So I imagine everyone is me, basically. And that's why I'm always like, right, if they can't choose and they're looking at on my wall all the colours and choosing between 3 reds, I had a lady that did it the other day. I said, don't worry about it. I said, you don't have to make a decision. I said, I'm going to swatch at 3 of your fingers. Yeah. And I'll put it on. And she was there for about 3 minutes. But we knew. And then by the end of it, she left and she texted me. She was like, thank you for being so patient with me. I was like, absolutely not. You need to go with what you want. Yeah. But it's doing those things in between to make sure, like, I'll do a bit of nail art or I'll do a French on one finger first. Is that thick enough? Is that thin enough? Some people have a preference. I don't like mine too thick. Some people do. I always just do one and make sure. And after I've done 2 or 3, I ask again, because then they can see more of them on one hand, so they get a bigger picture of it. And then, and hopefully that eliminates problems like this.
It definitely does, and I think people appreciate it so much. I do it all the time. Yes, I think it was yesterday. I had someone in and she could decide between 2 brown chromes, so I showed her both because it was just quick wipe off. I can start again. It's
not
so
like,
easy.
oh right, that's fine, because they don't realise how quickly it is just to show you something. Yeah, exactly.
And I find people sometimes over apologise, but as long as you're like, no, honestly, I genuinely don't mind. I'd rather it was right. Then they remember that for next time. That actually, I could ask to see 2 things if I'm not sure, and then it just stops them being fussier. Yeah, because they've got what they wanted anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was the fussy one, so I was like, can I just try every single colour you've got on the wall?
Yeah. I think what I would do is, I don't know if I'd get her in immediately for a fix for free. I don't know if I'd like be going out my way to work in a late evening. I might be looking at the diary and going, that's no problem. My next appointment to get you in is a week on Saturday or whatever. My fee for a repaint is 10, 15, whatever you want to charge. Just try and put something to it, and then that might deter it. Equally, you could do it for free, but just don't make it like, oh, I can do it tomorrow, because then they'll expect it every time. And actually, if they can live with it for a week, they can probably live with it for 2 more. And then come back again. And you might find if you make it a bit awkward for them to book that repair, in quotes, back in, they might think, oh, don't worry about it, love. It's fine. I'll wait till my next appointment, and they'll forget about it anyway.
I think it was the first time one. I obviously would still say I wouldn't go out my way to do it. I would give them my availability, but I would probably want to sort it sooner rather than later. Yeah, just because if they're a first time client, I want them to be happy. But then I'll remember, when they do come in for that next thing, I'll say, listen, when you're here, is anything you're unhappy about when you go? Like, I do always check. I would kind of remind them in that situation. So if they do then stay, which hopefully they would because you've sorted it out for them, they know in the future that you can't do that. Do you know what I mean? So I would kind of do that.
It's just making me feel comfortable, isn't it?
Exactly.
And I think as long as you're someone who's approachable and friendly, people understand that they can bring things up, and saying to them, please tell me if there's anything you don't like at that first appointment solves every issue.
Perfect, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
This has been really, really useful for everybody. Loads of tips for getting clients, keeping them, and stopping them from going elsewhere. We have done a little overlay on Tanya's nails today. So we've just gone with Nail Order's Angel Builder Gel in the shade Cherub, which is a lovely little nude.
It's so natural.
It's really pretty, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't use this brand, so it's nice to actually have something else on my fingers, but it's really natural. I like that you can semi-see the white of my nail.
It's pretty, isn't it?
Really nice. Yeah, really I like it a lot.
So where can people find you?
I'm on Fresher, but if you want to look at all my work, then you're best looking on Instagram, and that's at Beauty Max. Beauty with an I.
Yep. And you're on TikTok as well, aren't you?
No.
Are you not? I swear you've come up on my TikTok. Is it reels?
Yeah, so my personal TikTok, I do a bit of nails.
Okay, okay. I'll leave that out then. Right, it's not nails.
Right. I mean, you can go on my TikTok if you want.
I saw your Vlogmas on TikTok.
Yeah, it is just work thing,
okay.
but I do everything on my TikTok.
Right.
It's not just about nails, it's just me and my life.
Just you?
Yeah, just me and my life.
I love that.
So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for watching or listening. Please give the podcast a follow, a like, a subscribe. It really, really, really does help out. If you'd like to submit a nightmare from the nail desk for me and my next guest to solve, that would be appreciated as well. We are here to answer your dilemmas. And the next episode is going to be all about refreshing your space, your mind, your business ready for spring. Can't wait. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.